Alex Faison, welcome to the podcast.
What up?
What up? I don't know why I'm doing that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I like the energy.
I do too. It really helps, especially on the listening side. A little bit of silliness. This is some inside podcast stuff, but like a little silliness makes the podcast like 100% better.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just something I've noticed. Okay, hey, let's do this. We'll talk about your life and stuff later. Mm-hmm. Let's start here. Tell me 3 songs you're vibing on right now.
Ooh.
Don't think too much.
Like, are we talking Jesus songs?
I don't care.
You don't care? All
No,
right.
I don't care. I mean, it could be worship, but maybe not. Like, what are you vibing on? Like when you get up and you're getting ready in the morning, you're drinking your coffee, and you're driving.
I'm a huge fan of Tori Kelly.
Okay.
She's my bestie in my mind. So
Okay.
I vibe out
Shout
to her.
out Tori.
Shout out to Tori. I'm also a Mav City fan, of course,
Okay.
like everyone else.
Okay.
So I vibe out to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm here with you.
Yeah.
But I vibe out to Vineyard Worship too.
Okay. We're gonna give her at the end of this. I'll give you that $20. I promised you. That's
Perfect.
right. We're vibing.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's go this. What's a perfect day?
A perfect day. It's sunny out,
Yeah.
a little bit of overcast, but it's not raining.
That's right. No raining.
What
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm just chilling. I mean, I just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what does that mean at home? You watching some shows?
I'm addicted to TikTok.
Oh, do you TikTok?
Yeah.
Or do you just stalk TikTok?
A little bit of both. But
Okay.
I make,
So tell everybody how they follow you on TikTok.
I think it's just Alexandria Faison.
Everybody, do it right now. Press pause on this podcast. Pull out your phone and give Alex a follow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you ever dance on TikTok?
I do.
Okay.
I dance with my sister sometimes and my best friend.
Okay.
They're fun. They're addicting.
Yeah.
So, and they're hard. They're very challenging. I have rhythm. I know how to dance, but like some of those I'm like, is it gone?
Yeah, it's just another level.
Yeah.
Okay, so what video have you had? Well, let me change the way I'm saying this. Have you had a video that's like gone viral on TikTok?
Not viral.
Uh-huh.
No. I feel like you can only go viral on TikTok for dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you try hard or you're like, oh, this is really good. This is going to get me viral. It doesn't happen.
Have you seen that one video? It's that kid. He's like, I'm gonna drink a seltzer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just like shotguns a seltzer and then he turns around and he walks into the garage door and knocks himself out. I bet I've watched that 100 times myself.
Like millions of views, millions of likes and shares. It's insane.
Well, I mean, if you want to go viral, hurt yourself. People like to watch that.
It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny. I laugh a little bit when people fall and stuff.
I do too. Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Dream vacation spot.
Man. I don't know. I think
Beach or mountains?
beach.
America or abroad?
Somewhere else.
Hawaii or Caribbean?
Ooh. I think Hawaii.
Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Also both.
Both. That's right. Like, what are we talking about here? Like Bahamas.
Right.
Hawaii. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Okay. Last question here at the top. Favorite thing that happened in Maine at the Anchor Session recording?
Maine was so good.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I had a blast. Favorite thing that happened in Maine, I think, was just the community. Like getting to reconnect with people that I know. Like I've known Annabeth for a while, and Tiadra, I've known her for a while, and Kyle and stuff. But then meeting new people like Sarah and Dale and I
Did you know Josh and Carl?
So but
fun.
I was kind of intimidated.
No, don't be intimidated by them.
They're super cool. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Maine was amazing.
Wasn't it though? I thought it was so awesome. And by the way, just for those who are listening to the podcast, because this will probably come out before that record comes out.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about here is we have already finished another Anchor Sessions record for Vineyard Worship, and Alex was one of our singers on it, and it was just awesome. I'm stoked. I'm stoked on the songs. I'm stoked on the performances. I'm stoked on the video, and then the hangouts were just so fun, weren't they?
So much fun. So many firsts. I tried oysters for the first time. I don't think you were there.
Yeah. And so go ahead and tell everybody, what do you think? This is a raw oyster, by the way.
It was a raw oyster. It was, so I'm a texture person. So the texture was kind of weird.
It's wild.
But as I was about to eat it, and I don't know if I can say this on the Ferment, but as I'm about to eat it, Casey's like, yeah, sometimes they taste like boogers. And like, I'm like, Casey.
Yeah, you're not helping me right now. You're not inspiring confidence. What's happening?
Not at all. And we laughed about it, but it was good.
There you go.
I had whiskey for the first time.
What? Come to Vineyard Worship, get corrupted. Yeah.
I'm of age, so
clearly.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So good. Well, and one of the other things that I was hearing a lot from everybody who was on that trip was how much they loved Dale.
Dale is amazing.
Yeah, Dale played bass for us.
Yes.
And he was kind of a new person in our circle for a lot of people, and everybody has come to me and said, hey, can we just have Dale around more?
Can we just hang out with Dale? He's coming tonight, I think.
He is. He's playing tonight.
Yeah. And we have a group chat, and so we've been like texting, Dale, when are you coming? When are you coming?
That's right.
Because at first we were like, hey, are you going to be at the national conference? And he's like, oh, no, I don't think so. Yeah. We're like, bro, you got to come. And then Melissa let us know that he was coming. So we're super stoked.
And he's playing bass with Kyle. And, and they're like best friends now. So
besties.
That's right. They're besties. Okay, Alex, let's talk about growing up. Where you come from? What's your family like?
I'm from Davenport, Iowa. Yes, there are Black people in Iowa.
Here's what's funny. Here's what's very funny about you saying that. I want to say that Josh Williams, who is also from Iowa.
Yeah.
I want to say that the first time that I met Josh Williams, I'm like, hey, Josh, I'm Adam. Where are you from? He's like, Iowa. There are Black people from Iowa. He gave me the same line. So.
Yes. That is a question that comes up a lot.
So tell me about Davenport. I know nothing about Davenport. I speak for a living.
Yeah. So we're part of the Quad Cities. Yeah. It's called the Quad Cities, but there's really 5 cities, so it's weird. We're right on the Mississippi. So like you take a bridge that's not even 5 minutes and you're in Illinois. And so I live about, you can make it to Chicago in like 2 hours and 30 minutes or something. So it's
cold.
Yeah.
It's real cold.
But we experience all of the seasons, which is very beautiful. But the summers get really hot and humid and muggy. Yeah. And the winters get very cold and
But spring and fall are glorious, right?
Spring and fall. I love it.
What else do we need to know about Davenport? Like, I just know so little about Iowa. I know that you guys caucus for the president.
Yep.
I know that there's a place called Ames.
Yeah. Yep.
I know that you can build baseball fields in the middle of corn patches, but I don't know anything about Iowa. Like, tell me.
I don't know what to say. Iowa gets that rep where it's like, oh, Iowa, the flyover state. Yeah. But I think, I love Iowa, but I think it's because that's where I'm from. Yeah. That's where my family is. That's where my church is. Yeah, community and stuff. But Iowa is more than cornfields. There's a lot of cornfields, but like I don't live on a farm in a cornfield.
And when you said that a moment ago, you said that in a really nice way. You said Iowa is more than cornfields.
It is.
Yeah, we should call a marketing team right now.
Yeah.
That's the new branding for Iowa.
Iowa is more than cornfields.
Okay, so tell me about your family. What was your family like?
Yeah. So I am the oldest of 4. So
does that mean you're responsible?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that firstborn responsibility?
Firstborn girl. Mm-hmm. My mom, I love my mom. I don't know what else to say about her. my dad died when I was 4.
Okay.
So my siblings, we actually don't have the same dad. So the 3, we call them the 3 little ones. They're not little anymore, but the 3 little ones share dad, and I have my own dad.
Yeah.
And my
family of
granny,
faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grew up very deep roots with faith. Born and raised in the church. Actually, born and raised Black Baptist.
Yeah.
So.
Did you grow up singing in church?
I did.
Yeah. What about your mama? She sing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. My mom, her 2 sisters. My grandfather, I never got a chance to meet him, but he was a pastor and also like a singer, played every instrument under the sun.
That's right.
My dad was very like a musician and sang, and his dad. So it's just all in there. Yeah.
So you have those gospel roots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So what's interesting is I've done a bunch of podcasts this week in this little room, and almost every single person I've talked to has a connection to like Black gospel and the Black church and like deep gospel roots. So this is like a theme this week for the podcast. Just keeps coming through. Yep. It's amazing.
It's very influential in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah,
music.
well, and this is exactly one of the things we've been talking about this week is how especially that gospel tradition, how it launches people into music of all kinds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So you grew up singing. Were you like, I just like singing, or were you like, I feel like this is what I'm here for?
I've experienced both of those in different stages of my life. I think when I was younger and I was, in the choir, and my mom was the choir director, I would feel forced, like, Alex, you're in the choir, you're going to do this solo, you're going to, whatever. And I'm like, Mom, I really just want to take this dress off right now, put on some shorts and play with my friends. But like, no, we're going to church. You got to be in the choir, all that stuff. But I mean, I love singing. I love music. In school, like middle school and high school, I was in show choir and choir and stuff. And so music has always been, I don't think I really had a choice, Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you start like leading worship? Because singing in the choir and maybe singing solos, that's one kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a special thing.
Yeah.
But like leading worship is like, it's different.
Yeah. I might be wrong about this, but I think I started actually leading worship and not just like a choir thing. I started that when we came to the Vineyard.
Okay. Okay. When did you come to the Vineyard?
I think it was 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think when you got to the Vineyard?
Bro. I mean, I grew up Black Baptist.
Yeah.
So like predominantly Black.
Yeah.
The music, the
energy.
Message, like the sermon.
Yeah. Were you bored?
No, it was very intriguing.
Yeah.
Like we went, okay, so I'll kind of tell the story. Yeah. I'll keep it short. But so my church, we do a thing called Community on a Mission Day. And that is just like a day where we just love on our community, serve, all that stuff. And one of the most popular things that we do is the $1 car wash. And so, we advertise that, all that stuff. People come get their car wash. We advertise it as $1, but then afterwards they're like, oh, here you go. Here's $1. And we're like, no, like we're giving you $1. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And so anyways, my family and I, we, driving down the road, we got stopped by a stoplight. And there were people, they're like, hey, do you guys want some drinks? We have pop, we have water. And so we're like, oh, yeah, cool. And so we took it. Then they were like, you should go get your car washed, and we have a free lunch. And it was at the church. And so we're like, that's cool. And I was with my siblings, a cousin, and then my granny.
Yeah.
And she likes supporting churches and stuff like that. And so we went to the car wash. They washed our car. She tried to give them like $20 or whatever. And they're like, no, we can't take that.
It's like, Granny, we're not taking your money.
Yes, yeah. And so they gave us $1. We're like, wow, that's cool. Ate lunch and all that stuff. And so then I think it was that following Sunday, we visited the church, and it was a culture shock. Like, what? I remember when we walked in, first off, we're in our Sunday's best.
Yeah,
you know,
you
I'm
got
pretty
your dress on.
Yes, I'm pretty sure my brothers had like suits
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I might be making this up, but whatever. Like
it's good storytelling, Alex. You just tell any way you want to tell it, okay?
Thank you. We walk in, first person we see has on those like Cookie Monster sweatpants. You know what I mean? Like those pajama pants.
Crocs?
Like, Crocs. Sweatshirt that has like pizza stains.
You're like, what is going on here?
Like, why? What?
Yeah.
Don't you know this is a church? Or is it?
Yeah.
And so
what is this place? Yeah.
Yeah. And we I remember us locking eyes with like the one black family that was there. And the lady, you know, introduced herself and blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me, like, you know, my siblings went back to VK, and at that point I wasn't VK age, but like all of us were intrigued by something. Like I remember my mom and I were intrigued by worship, the worship, and even the message that day, I remember clear as day, was everyone gets to play. And it was like service team launches and stuff like that. And so like they were saying, you know, everyone gets to play, even if you're not a member here. We want you to play, like, you know. So anyways, my brother Caleb got involved in VK with the media stuff, and my mom and I.
And he's even here this week, like shooting video and stuff. Like, so he's really leaned into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my mom and I auditioned for the worship team, and we got on the worship team, and the rest is kind of history.
All right. So let me go one level deeper since we're on this story already.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about being a black person at a predominantly white church. Like you've already kind of said some of it, but like, but you stayed. So talk to me. Why'd you stay?
It was something special. So like a little insight. So my mom ended up getting married to a pastor. And so she like had to make that hard decision of like leaving her kids, you know, at a church, because we were like, Mom, we love it here. And this is, you know, years after. Yeah. But we're like, Mom, we love it here, and we don't want to leave. And so she trusts our church. She trusts the pastors and stuff like that, and decided to, like, you know, kind of not go to church with us anymore. She still loves the Vineyard and all that stuff. But so anyways, I think it was just different. I understood the message, right? Like as a kid, I was maybe a freshman in high school or whatever. And to be honest, like I would kind of tune out at my other churches just because I didn't really understand it. Yeah. And I'm not really saying that it's anyone's fault, but just like
where you were, it whatever was going on at the Vineyard, it just connected in some other way. Yeah.
And the fact that like there didn't have to be this, there wasn't this whole like ceremony thing where it's like, okay, now you're a member, and so now you can get involved. You know what I mean? Like it was our first Sunday, and we signed up to be on the worship team, and it's like, you know, it very community driven, and it was just something different. Now that I'm older and I have like language for it, obviously it was the Holy Spirit. You know, like that encounter, like it wasn't a coincidence. Because you're the
worship pastor now.
I'm the worship pastor.
Yeah, so it's just very interesting how that happens, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you grew up in this one tradition, you come to the Vineyard. First Sunday, there's something that's very interesting too. You guys signed up to be on the worship team, you're on the worship team, and like God is doing something here in this.
It wasn't a coincidence.
This space. Yeah, I don't see it that way. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so how many years have you been the worship leader?
Since like 2014.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 2014, and then 2015 I went away to college, but then, and that's another story, but then came back in 2015, and that's when I was hired as the worship director, and then ended up becoming the worship pastor. Yeah,
so you were hired as like a 20-year-old?
I was 19.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's so cool, though. I mean, it's just very cool that, A, you had the gravity to do that, and then B, that they had the faith to say, you know what, we think a 19-year-old girl's got what we need.
It was a huge risk.
Yeah.
It was a huge risk for them, and I'm forever grateful. And I think it's not just Vineyard Church of Davenport, where I'm located, but like the Vineyard as a whole. I appreciate that we take risks with the younger generation, my generation. You know what I mean?
Especially like even risks in leadership. Just I mean, ultimately, like you need reps in order to do something. Well, that actually ties into something else I wanted to ask you. Was there anybody important in developing you as a worship leader? Because even like if you have the job at 19, I mean, awesome. But I'm assuming there's still there's some holes in your game. You know, you're still a young kid. Like, who has helped develop you over the years?
I mean, just being able to be in the room, right? Whether it's like at my church or with Vineyard Worship stuff. The worship pastor before me, he took some risks with just allowing me to lead worship. Yeah. Which was cool. A lot of it though, and I don't mean this to sound like arrogant or anything, but like a lot of it was just me having to learn myself, the pastors at my church, like I learned so much from them and they pour into me, and they are like the lead pastor. They are the children's pastor, the youth pastor, but it's not like the worship pastor. Yeah. And so that has been just an interesting thing to figure out, like, okay, I can be taught how to pastor people, but it's a whole nother section when we're talking about worship. Yeah. So it's kind of been like me just learning by being in the room.
Yeah. So part of what I'm hearing in your story is like trial by fire. Just you're there. We got to figure this out. Sunday's in 3 days, guys. Yes. We got to do this. Yep. Yeah. 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 Well, talk to me about this. What's helped you grow as a leader? And I don't even mean like worship leader here. I just mean that other side of worship leadership. So there's that one side of worship leadership that is what we do on Sunday morning, leading the room, our vocal performance and maybe our instrumentation, that kind of thing. But then there's this other side of being a worship leader that has to do with administration. It has to do with just being a leader, setting expectations and calling people up and discipling people, and that all those soft skills that come in with building a team, making it feel like a community and something cohesive. What's helped you grow on that side of being a leader?
I think just having a seat at the table. The pastors at my church, they have always made room for me, and the lead pastor now, our lead pastor now, he does that especially so, like making sure that I'm developing in that way, whether it's like being a part of the meetings or doing like a study or all types of stuff. They're very intentional in that way.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing there is like you're just being included at all kinds of levels. Yeah.
And good. Some of that has come easy, and also some of that I've had to fight for. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Yeah. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm a young Black woman in a church that has been led by middle-aged white men. Yeah. So that's like the complete opposite. You know what I mean? And again, not saying that it's anyone's fault, but sometimes it could be looked over. Things have been done a certain way for so long or whatever. And so first off, feeling safe enough to bring that to their attention, which has been amazing. Sometimes I would kind of shy away from that. Like, that's such a hard thing. But they have told me over and over and over again, like, Alex, we want to help develop you and we want to get better at this. So like, not that I'm the only point person for that, but like help us help you. You
That's
know,
right.
that type of thing.
That's right. Well, and then I don't know you super well, but like my experience of you is you're not a confrontation. Like you're not this person who's like, man, can't wait to get to church and like beat some people in the head today,
No,
you know?
no.
So it's like I don't hear you, and I've never experienced you as being someone who's like super confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even hearing like confrontation in the story you're telling right now, but I am hearing that like, hey, you know?
And to me that's like that's a
big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. But kudos to your pastors because like you even mentioned a moment ago that they had made you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a really big deal, creating an atmosphere where we can either learn from each other or disagree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very good at that. So I'm really grateful. And like I said, it's not coincidence. God has placed me. I was born in Davenport, Iowa for a reason.
Yeah.
I am at the Vineyard Church of Davenport for a reason. I'm under their leadership for a reason. Yeah. I'm a part of the Vineyard movement for a reason, you know.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, talk to me about challenges. And maybe we just did, but maybe there's something else. Talk to me about challenges that you faced in your leadership. Because, you know, sometimes it's easy to, it's easy to sometimes not talk about it or just to be like, well, everything's been great. But anybody who's actually done any kind of like real church leadership knows, man, sometimes it's just really difficult. And so I'm interested, you know, you've been doing this since you were 19. Yeah. What are some of the hurdles you've had to make it over?
Well, first off, like when I got hired on, like I took the position of, well, what am I trying to say? The guy that was before me, the worship pastor that was before me, was a middle-aged white man. Yeah. And then they hired this 19-year-old black woman. Yes.
So that was just like
yeah.
Mind warp.
Yep. And the people that I was now leading, like I was on their level. That sounds bad, but like, you know what I mean? Like
No, you were peers.
Yes.
And now you're not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have people? Certainly you did. People who were older than you that you're leading?
Oh, absolutely.
Talk to me about that dynamic because this is actually pretty common. Yeah. Talk to me about leading people who are older than you.
Some people hated it and couldn't handle it and left. And
how did you feel when that happened?
It was hard.
Yeah. Did it feel personal?
It did.
Okay.
It did. Even when I tried to not take it personal, it was like, what's wrong with me?
All right. How did you process that? With your pastors? Was it just like talk it out with your pastors?
A little bit of that. Yeah. Talk to my mom, of course. Yeah. You know, talking to family.
Mama.
Yes, right? Yeah. Like, Mom, what am I doing?
Yeah.
At that point, so, you know, all my friends, I was 19 and I left college for the job. And so, like, all my friends were away at college. So I was in Davenport kind of by myself, you know.
Did that feel lonely?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take for you to find a new community that felt like I've got besties again?
Well, I've always, like, growing up, I've always had older friends, and so it was nothing for me to kind of make friends with the older adults.
Well, you feel like an old soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even when we were hanging out in Maine, I was just like, and you're clearly way younger than me, but I'm like, I'll hang with Alex anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good hang.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like people in their mid-30s, early 40s,
That's
and
right.
here's 19-year-old me being like, hey, let's hang.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool, but that, I mean, I still am friends with them and I appreciate them and love them. That wasn't my community, you know what I mean? And so, honestly, so in Davenport, in the Quad Cities, there's a chiropractic school. And a lot of people from all around the country really like come to Davenport. I think there's one in Florida or whatever, but they come to Davenport, they go to school for like 3 or 4 years, and then they leave. And so a couple of years ago, like I met these super cool people that visited our church, and they were Palmer people.
Yeah.
Had really solid community with them, but then they graduated and had to leave. And so I'm still friends with them. They're family now, you know, but like it's different having people like in your home being like,
right.
yo, let's go get some coffee, or can I come over, or you come over, or whatever.
Well, that's part of the story in Campbellsville too, because there's a university in our city. And so, you know, college kids come.
They do.
And as soon as they really find a place, they graduate.
Exactly.
It takes about 4 years. It feels
does.
Like. Yeah.
It does. And so, yeah. And it's so funny because they're like some of the best people ever.
Yeah.
Like, you're amazing. Can you just stay?
Yeah. Come on.
It's like, no. But
okay. So here's what I'm hearing in this story so far. I'm hearing on the challenge side, I'm hearing the worship leadership shifts from middle-aged white guy to 19-year-old black girl. I'm hearing young girl is leading older people. That's a big one, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I'm also hearing that community piece, you know, of like, wow, I'm looking around. All my friends are actually at college somewhere. And there's like a layer of loneliness. Yeah. Alex, you're a trooper. like you've done a really great job of like pressing through some very real challenges. So I guess my question is, when are you going to write your book?
Oh, I mean, don't people write books in their 40s, mid-40s?
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah. Well, listen, some people write their books earlier, but maybe they shouldn't, right? Yeah.
No. Yeah. So I got some time. I still got life to experience.
That's good. Yeah. But I love hearing those very real challenges. And one of the things that I experience when I'm with you is just joy. So it's very cool to see that, you've faced some stuff that's hard, and some of it's like things you don't want to talk about, but there's something about you, at least my experience of you, it stayed light and effervescent, you know, which is good. You haven't become cynical.
Close.
Well, okay, talk to me about that.
Close to it. It's just hard, and sometimes it's like, all right, God, literally, like, what am
I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, there are a lot of moments where I just thought like it would be so much easier for me to just go back to school, you know, like, why did I accept this job? Yeah. So, yeah.
Listen, I just want to tell you, I led worship for 9 years. I've been a lead pastor for over 13. I've got over 20 years in this thing. We all think that. You know, that's part of what it is to do ministry. We all have these moments where wanderlust kicks in, and we just go, you know, I just want to get like a Sprinter van and start an Instagram page and go to Colorado or whatever it is. You know, I want to be an influencer and just drive around with my golden retriever and leave all my problems behind. But that's not what actually Jesus is asking us to do.
Yeah. Especially in the age of social media, right? You see everyone else like, oh, my life is so good, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, Lord, I am literally in the trenches right now.
Yeah, I'm in the trenches.
Yeah. But I will say real quick, another thing that has helped me a lot is being a part of like the retreats and the conferences and stuff like that. Just being in the room. I think that's like a common theme that I say all the time, and just a common theme in my life with this whole journey is just being able to be in the room and meeting people where it's like, oh, I'm not the only person that is in the trenches right now. I'm not the only person that is experiencing all this stuff. And so going to those retreats or conferences or whatever, getting filled up, and then having enough in my cup to go home
and do the work.
Well, and then do it again.
Alex, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because, man, this is something that I experienced as well, like very, very similar. when I found I put it this way: when I found my tribe within the tribe, you know, I have my friends at home, at my home church and everything, but when I was able to get to enough Vineyard events, and it doesn't happen the first event you go to, you know, I had to go to a bunch of them. I had to go to a bunch of retreats and like this and that, pastor meeting or Vineyard Worship meeting, but then after a few years, when I found Ted Kim and I found Caleb Masco and Jared Boyd. Yeah. And I realized, oh, these are not just my friends. They're some of the best friends I have in my whole life. Absolutely. It changed. It just changed. It changed my view on ministry. It gave me endurance, perseverance. You need people to run with.
Kingdom friendships.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we need some to be at home, but we also need some that are kind of like outside the system or whatever. Yep. Yeah. Last night I was standing behind the sound booth during worship and just worshiping, and I looked over and I see you and Tiadra, y'all are like dancing in the sound booth. And I couldn't help but think, you've clearly found one of your people. Yeah. Is Tiadra one of your people?
I love her. It's so funny. I met her at, I think it was 2015, whatever year it was that we had the national conference in Anaheim. That was my very first.
I think it was 17.
Okay, so my very first national conference, and I was asked to help with worship, do like background vocals and stuff, and it was with the Vineyard North Phoenix team. Yeah. And so that's where I met T. I met, James, all these people.
How fun.
And at first, like T and I didn't hit it off right away just because we were both so nervous. Yeah. But then, connections and stuff.
But see, it's not the first time, right? Like it doesn't happen the first time. Yeah. You got to come back. Yep. I think you said that a minute ago. Yep. Got to keep showing up. Yep. Come into the room, right? Yep. Yeah. So that's good. Well, I mean, we could have made a little TikTok video of y'all's dancing last night.
There's still time. There's still time.
Tonight. Okay. You guys get in the aisle. I'm going to TikTok it. Okay. Yep. Okay. So let me shift gears again. Yep. Talk to me about leading worship without an instrument. What do you want to say about that?
Well, I normally lead with keys.
Do you? Okay.
I do.
Okay. I just learned something. Talk to me. Hit me with that. Because like this morning you were leading without an instrument. Does that feel weird?
So I specifically asked Melissa, like, hey, is it okay if I don't lead with keys?
All right, so tell me why.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I'm still learning keys. It's been like a self-taught journey. And sometimes I feel restricted when I'm leading with keys, just because, I mean, worship leading itself, people don't realize it unless you are a worship leader or whatever, but there's so many things that are going on in your mind, staying on the click, figuring out where you're going next, listening to the Spirit, like all that stuff. And so then throwing an instrument in with that.
You feel the restriction right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I love leading with keys. I love playing keys, but there's some moments where I'm like, I just don't want to. Yeah. And so I'm super grateful that Melissa said it was okay.
Of course it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's a million piano players in that room.
Yeah.
We're
absolutely.
Good. Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
Okay. Another question. I'm thinking about the pandemic. I'm thinking about the video you made for us during the pandemic for our little daily worship stream. Yeah. You and Caleb.
Yep.
It was such a good video.
Thank you.
You guys did so well.
Thank you.
But I was specifically thinking about this. You were leading, and your brother's playing guitar. Is that normal?
Yeah.
Y'all do that pretty often?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we're normally on the team together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder. I saw that, and it was so. There's something about the video that's so natural, and I don't know. It felt like it didn't feel new. I was like, I wondered if you and Caleb had been. Leading worship together for a while.
We have.
Does he ever sing? Can you get him to sing a harmony?
He tries.
Yeah.
He tries really hard to sing, but that gift wasn't really given to him. But he plays like every instrument. So
Does he play drums?
He does. Oh, he is a killer drum player.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So Caleb's got skills.
He does.
All right. Shout out, Caleb. All right. Well, let me ask you this. 2 more questions maybe, and then we'll wrap. Talk to me about what you think God is doing in your life these days.
It's a mystery, a constant mystery. I feel like, I think, well, what I'm experiencing is just this journey of saying yes. Like he has shown other people things that then like they have told me about it, but it's not like a specific thing. It's like I get the same word over and over again. Like God has so much more for you, and like he's doing, he has all this for you. Just say yes.
Yeah.
But
so that's a normal word. Some version of there's
something
more
like
for
that.
you. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
How does that feel when you get that word?
it's kind of confusing, just because I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like y'all are all seeing this, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of frustration, a little bit of excitement.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this is a surprise, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Can I tell you what I hear in that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's what I hear, and this isn't even. I'm not even going to put this in the. This is a word from the Lord category, right? This is just Adam, your friend.
Yep.
And I'm hearing a story from you, and I know you a little bit, and I've experienced you a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I think. I think some of what people are picking up on, Alex, is just there's a real sense that there's a lot of potential in you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this morning, you guys led so beautifully. I thought that was an amazing worship set.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for those of you who maybe didn't watch the stream, or maybe you were not in the room, Ted Kim and Jesse Meyer and Alex led us this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, like you guys led it, like you're supposed to close in prayer.
I couldn't.
And you were kind of beginning to close, but you didn't.
I couldn't.
You kind of just stopped talking.
Yeah.
And it was really great because you kind of went back into that vineyard thing we do, just to wait, see what God is doing, just wait. And we don't have to make it up either, right?
Right.
And this beautiful thing happened, and people just began to declare who God was around the room, right? So people would say...
I get chills still.
Yeah. People would say... What were they saying?
Like, just declaring who he was.
Yeah.
Because I led Waymaker. And so, people are just saying, like, Lord, you are a Waymaker.
Yeah.
You are a promise keeper. You're breaking chain,
Yeah. But then it went way beyond that, right? Like it went beyond what the song was saying.
Yes, absolutely.
And probably, 20 people? 30 people in the room?
It was kind of like a wave.
Just a wave.
In my mind, I was like, I know I have to close. Like, I think I had already prayed at that point.
You did.
But I could not.
You did not say amen.
I could not say amen.
No, you didn't.
I knew I was going to, and I eventually did. But I was like, literally, like, I can't. And I could kind of see Ted looking at me a little bit, but I was like, I'm sorry, bro.
No. And listen, I know Ted really well. There was no pressure coming from Ted.
Yeah.
Ted's probably looking at you going like, what are we going to do right now?
Yeah.
And he's with you. Like, okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, I'm telling that story because my experience of you was like, even this morning, like you led so well.
Thank you.
And the team, like you and Ted and Jesse, it's like, it's not the most obvious lineup in some ways.
Yeah.
Freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I loved it. It was one of my favorite sets of the whole week for sure already. But I leaned over to Melissa after that was over and I told Melissa this. I said, there's just more for out. Like there's this feeling, right? There's this feeling, right? And I don't even know what that means other than I think it is pretty obvious to a lot of us who are around you. Like you have a real gift and I don't think you've exhausted it. And I don't even think you've drilled down into the mother lode. Like, and when you're mining, you follow the gold vein until you get to the main store, right?
Yeah.
I think we're still following the little gold vein down and we haven't hit the store yet.
Yeah.
I think there's just more there. And I don't say that to like there's no pressure.
Yeah.
You just keep like I'm going to use your words on you. Just keep showing up.
Right.
Be in the room.
Yeah, that's good.
Keep saying yes.
Yeah.
But I just thought this morning was a little I don't know. I thought it was like a little preview to like
Mm.
the kind of thing that would be more regular for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what people pick up on when they say there's more for you.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's easy to process. So thank you for processing that with me.
Yeah, we can process more. I mean,
yes.
But that's what I hear when you were telling that story, and that's what I've experienced of you, like even in Maine or in 2017 when you were leading with the North Phoenix crew.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like maybe much more obvious today.
Yeah.
So, there was something open this morning.
It felt more obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, where it's like, okay, maybe this is what it is.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think it is. I think it is. And I just even wonder too, like, I wonder if there aren't some prophetic things about this morning. Because the way the room responded. I told Jesse this afterwards. I'm like, one of the really beautiful things is when the congregation takes up their role as they're not watching worship.
Yeah.
And they're not even receiving worship from you. Right? They're participants. It's like you all are doing your part.
Yep.
But then the congregation has to do their part.
That's my favorite part of worship.
It's the best. Well,
that's
that's the point, right? That's what worship leaders do. They facilitate this moment where the congregation can do their part, which is give their gift. And this morning's gift showed up in a really, really special way. And so I just think maybe there's just something prophetic there, and even prophetic down to the point of like Alex showing up and leading worship with two guys who are not obvious like matches, right? In that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what I wonder, Alex. I just wonder, like, man, maybe you're going to be leading worship more on stages like that rather than less, and maybe you're going to be leading worship more with people who seem to not be the obvious people that you would lead worship rather than less. And maybe there is something more for you in terms of like leading the congregation to this place where they can give their gift. How does that feel?
It feels exciting.
Yeah.
Also a tad bit scary because that means I'm not in control.
Well, yeah, of course, right? Like,
but, yeah.
But what is control? I mean, not to get too philosophical.
Right.
But what do we control? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All we can do is just say yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that I think is, well, I know that was part of my experience today. Because even like just leading up to this morning, I would just have moments of prayer. Like if I was just driving by myself or about to go to sleep or whatever, just like, Jesus, I just want to say yes to what you are doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I shy away from saying yes because, like I said, that means I'm not in control. Like I'm not, and it's not like I want to steer the ship, but I want to ask questions and be like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Yeah. And normally, like, I'm a chill person with people here. Like, if you're like, Alex, we're going to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Jesus,
yeah,
I'm like, tell me this. I want to know this. And so,
Yeah.
anyways, just having that multiple moments with him and just being like, Jesus, I am just saying yes to you. I want to experience what you have for me and what you're going to do through me.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand in my own way. And I also want just a glimpse of what everyone else is seeing.
Yeah. Well, I think when people use the words like we see more for you, they just see, I think another way to see that, Alex, is it's the Holy Spirit saying to them, and then even to you, people trust you. They have confidence. Like they have confidence in you as a person and confidence in you as a leader. And like they want to be led by you. They, you know, that'd be another way to understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a fan.
I'm a fan of you.
I'm a fan of you, Alex. I love what you bring. And I'm so glad that you were with us this week. And I'm so glad that you're becoming just more a part of what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me a seat at the table.
What are you talking about?
Seriously.
Get out of here with that.
I'm
Get
grateful.
out of here with that. Oh, whatever. Listen, I just want you to keep coming around, and I want you and Tiadra to do a TikTok.
All right. I'll
Okay.
text her.
Text her, work on it, and we'll be sure to repost it on the Vineyard Worship channel, okay?
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Ferment podcast.